Hello viewers, I'm RajaFaisal with the News Washer, and today the story is 3 of Indian citizens who got missing in Iran. Once more, Indian media is blaming Pakistan for it. Could be the reason that Kulbhushan Jadhav, he entered in Pakistan once from Iranian side, and he was captured in Pakistan, and they started blaming Pakistan that actually Pakistan's intelligence went deep inside Iran to capture Kulbhushan Jadhav. This isn't the case at all. To clear the thoughts, to clear the news, to wash the news, today we have a guest from Iran who will be, of course, joining me now, and I will be asking him questions. Farshid Bagherian, he is an analyst, political analyst and defense analyst as well from Iran. He is associated with different think tanks. He has worked with different think tanks from abroad as well, like Turkey and few of the other think tanks. He has been contributing on major news channels of the world. He is a very prominent analyst, and he is associated with the academics as well, academia. So today we are very lucky to have him in our show. And now I will be heading towards this interview. Farshid, welcome to News Washer. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Farshid, my first question to you is, what are the latest developments on the alleged kidnapping of 3 Indian citizens in Iran?
Many thanks for inviting me. Regarding the kidnapping 3 Indian citizens, actually, the BBC first announced the news that 3 people, by arriving in Iran on 1st of May, were kidnapped. I refuse to use the kidnapping word because I prefer to use the disappeared, because we don't know what is the story behind this issue. And according to some journalists and some analysts from India, were some part of the Indian and Pakistani conflict. So the scene or the arena is Iran, and the Pakistan and Indian intelligence are struggling each other in Iran arena. I don't believe that this is happening in this country, because Iran is trying to establish a negative equilibrium not only during the war between the India and Pakistan. I prefer to use the word war because that was not aggression, that was not the conflict, because it was merely war. Because when we use the phrase war, it means that many powers, superpowers, and some nations, not only mentions the states, are alleged and are somehow involved in this war. So this was the U.S.-backed war, because U.S. completely backed India, China backed Pakistan, and that was a test. Anyway, the subject is not this issue. We are talking about the kidnapping 3 people. The conflict between India and Pakistan is not a 2-day conflict. This is more than 70 years. And the Kashmir problem is not the only Pakistan and India. Kashmir problem is some kind of saving issues for future, and it was how can I explain? It was prepared by the British ration. I believe that Pakistan and India are trying to be rational regarding this aggression and conflict, but maybe other intelligence services and maybe other powers or maybe other superpowers are trying to make Iran to be involved to this part of the conflict. I mean, to the conflict between India and Pakistan. So Iranian embassy emphasizes that the kidnapped citizens will be fine, and because the investigation, the vast investigation by the Iranian authorities started already, and I believe that Iran is trying to solve this problem, because during the aggression, also during the war, Iran is trying to de-escalate the war between India and Pakistan. So this is the problem. Iran is a vast country, more than 1,600,000 and something square kilometer, and Iran has a very vast border, a very long border with the Pakistan, and good relationship with India also at the same time, because many Indian traders are have their own business in Iran. So, and Iran is somehow the hub, or is the point, the jump point for the other flights to the east, between east and west. So Iran has to dissolve this problem, because this is not only the citizenship of other country. This is a matter of prestige for Iranian government. So I believe that Iran will dissolve this problem, and Iran will give gradually the details to the Indian authorities and responsibilities. Thank you.
As you might have noticed, that Indian media is busy, of course, giving credit to Pakistan for it, blaming Pakistan once more, that 3 of its citizens, they are missing in Iran. That could be, of course, just because of Kulbhushan Jadhav back in 2016. He was, of course, entering in Pakistan when he was caught red-handed by the Pakistani intelligence. This could have a lot to do with that. Can we say that Indian allegations are just because their Colonel Kulbhushan Jadhav, Commander Kulbhushan Jadhav, was actually captured by Pakistan, entering in Pakistan from the Iranian side?
Regarding the raw agent, actually there is no additional information about this operation, because the country intelligence operations are somehow closed and not open to public. But according to the divergence between Pakistan and India, country intelligence activities is inevitable. So I believe that the country vasting, not only in India and not only in Pakistan, the country intelligence activities is derived by all intelligence services by two countries, 2 states. But because you have common border, and not also common border because you have the historical conflict. And beside this, border and the aforementioned details, the fact is there is some other substantial paradoxical matter between Pakistan and India. The territorial matter, the faith matter, and the power matter. And because both India and Pakistan has nuclear power, and this nuclear power is somehow undercovered, and they are not exposed to the NPT. So counterintelligence activities is almost inevitably in these 2 countries, 2 states. And this is some part of the manner of the state, some behavior of the state, and this is behavioral, issue. So for this reason, the capturing of some raw agent in the Pakistani border is normal. I believe this is normal, and in the coming days, after the de-escalation of the war between Pakistan and India, I believe that the counterintelligence is getting involved more than before. So we will be testimony for the more kind of activities between these 2 states.
In the recent past, especially during Pakistan-India war, though Iran was playing a very positive role in trying to prevent the war, but still Iranian efforts were condemned by Indian analysts. So much so that one of the prominent analysts, I'm talking about Major Gorawaria, called Iranian foreign minister as a pig. Why Indians behave like that?
regarding the adversing of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Iran, some kind of the rudeness by some analysis. I believe that Iran during this war, the past war, not ending war, is better to say not ending war. Iran was trying to do an act like negative equilibrium, but Iran, especially with India as a large and profound trade, the Chabahar port is hired by the Indians. We have a very vast border and economic growing relationship with Pakistan. We have so many things in common with Pakistan, and maybe less than that by India. So Iran is trying to act like negative equilibrium, but actually Iran is acting positive equilibrium, because we have relationship with both countries. But Iran is fearing from the mass migration, because these two countries, if any war or conflict happen between Pakistan and India, of course the India country and India society is more vulnerable. Secondly, it was a test. I believe that it was a test, and the superpower tested the war. After the war, some days immediately after starting the war, I don't believe that Pakistan started this kind of war, because Pakistan knows the situation, and Pakistan in his foreign policy is more rationalist. For this reason, I don't believe that Pakistan started this war like this, but it was a play by other powers. They tested the Pakistani power and the Indian power. The Pakistani power backed by China, not backed by the US, and it was a cooperation between China and Pakistan, and could destroy air force. I mean, I'm talking about the partial air force of India. The US backed the air force. So it was a test, and after this test, how many plane crashed, not important how, it is no matter how many plane crashed, how many tanks crashed. It was the behavior of the two states that they are enjoyed from the nuclear power. They wanted to test that. Which one is the more rational? And Pakistan showed that is more rational. Iran backed Pakistan, and Iran tried to solve the problem. Turkey backed Pakistan. Azerbaijan backed Pakistan. The most Muslim countries backed Pakistan, and it was a test. And also, not only they backed the Pakistan, they backed the China. So it was the war between superpowers, and of course, the victim of this kind of tests are people, innocent people. So for this reason, I believe that Pakistan, with its rationalism in foreign policy, could de-escalate the tension. And right now we are enjoying from the peace process, and this peace process could stop the mass migration, food shortage, water shortage, and it was mass humiliation, manpower. So this is the right moment that Iran could interfere the peace process, and it was very important. But Iran must do that, and Iranian Minister of Foreign Affairs did his duty, I believe.
During and post-conflict, Pakistan and Iran have come more closer to each other. How do you see these fresh developments in Pakistan-Iran relations? Has it got a lot to do with China playing its role in regional stability and mutual cooperation? Where does India stand in this equation, especially Indian Chabahar endeavor? Of course, we know that India and Iran they have good relations in terms of economic relations, and Chabahar is, of course, economic endeavor of India. Farshid, how do you see Pakistan-Iran relations in coming future, especially China's role in it? Can we see a defense cooperation between Pakistan and Iran, especially after Pakistan's Air Force performance in war?
I prefer to answer your last two questions together, because the role of China in the region is not be torn apart. China is in Pakistan as a major economic partner. China is in Iran. It's not a matter of Gwader Port. I'm talking about the whole, the wholest view of the economy. And China with Iran has 25 years strategic agreement. This is not open to public, but this agreement was done. Remember that the conflict between Iran and Saudi Arabia, that the Huntington in 1994 was believed that, in that time, in his article he said that if there was a conflict, if there would be a conflict between two Islamic powers, a Buddhist culture can resolve this problem. And after 1994, in 2024, China could roll this kind of agreement between Iran and Iran and Saudi Arabia, and this is it was only in its kind, because why? This is the first time in the world that the one agreement is not in English and French language, is written in Farsi, Arabic, and Chinese. And it means that the hegemony of the United States, the hegemony of the Britain, and hegemony of France is merely riding to the sunset. This is a very important matter. China, after making this activity to resolve the conflict and the problem between two Muslim countries, of course, has a positive rule, not only by economy, but also by his presence, because China and the imperial, is better to say, and the imperial thought of China is not based on the militarism. According to CIPRI, China, like the other countries, like the other states, is increasing the total budget of the defense machine and war machine of its own country from maybe $60 billion to $250 billion. And but if you compare these figures with the American, it's some part of that. So it means that the Chinese state and Chinese authorities is, first of all, has the velocity for militarization their power, but the presence of China in the region, especially in more than 60 or 70 countries, is not because of the military bases, because of the economy, because of the depth, because of the employment, because of the trade. So China's right now, Chinese policy toward the world and Chinese view toward the world is not only based on the militarism, it's based on the trade. Iran and Pakistan is the two important partner. I believe that partner, because they are the door gate to the Middle East, they are the door gate to the Persian Gulf, door gate to the Arab Leagues, and door gate to, especially toward the Europe, because after the Mr. Xi Jinping initiative in 2013 regarding the One Belt One Road initiative, the United States, especially the big powers, the big companies, better to say Rockefeller, something like companies like BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, and etc. First of all, they trying to close the roads toward China, because China's power is production, and this production must reach the Europe. something about $1 trillion. So first of all, by Ukraine war, they closed the first corridor for that. The second corridor was the middle corridor, and is also closed by Russia. And the third corridor is better to say one belt that is extended from the oceans to Pakistan, to Iran, from Urumqi to Pakistan, from ports to Iranian ports and to the Middle East, and toward Europe by Syria, Jordan, and some other countries. They are trying to close this by IMEC project. If you remember the last G7 summit, Mr. Biden announces his issue regarding the IMEC, Indian, Middle East, Europe corridor. I think the initiative was empowered by $300 billion. But this project even has been started because of the 7 October Hamas conflict with Israel. So it's better to say right now, the world is watching the conflict between corridors, the conflict between straits, the conflict between the path, the road. So this is very important. And China, with the power of Pakistan and Iran, is trying to open or reopen the route or path through Oman, Oman Sea to Ocean, Indian Ocean, Oman Sea, and the Persian Gulf toward the new markets. So for this reason, I prefer to answer your last two questions together. China is trying to have a good relationship with Iran and Pakistan, and they never lost it because according to many divergence between China and Pakistan, based on faith, based on the type of the management, type of the state, type of any kind of diversity. China is right now is trying to fasten or to tighten or to empower the relationship between his state in Pakistan and Iran. The Chabahar problem, Chabahar is not a very important issue because remember the first era of the Mr. Trump, he extended the sanctions on Chabahar port because of the American forces in Afghanistan, captured in Afghanistan, better to say captured in Afghanistan, and because of the Afghani people and the Afghani I think one part of the NATO, I cannot remember right now the name of the group. Anyway, for this reason, Mr. Trump exempt the Chabahar from all sanctions that acted against Iran for his interest, not for Iranian interest. I believe that the Indians has not much activity in Chabahar port right now, and Iran sometimes send a notice to the Indian government that you have some responsibilities and we have some expectations. I believe that the Indian, presence in Chabahar is just preventing to the presence of the Chinese, presence, avoiding to their presence. This is the fact. But Iran, I think, is not too much happy with this, kind of activity. But it's agreement, and Iran has to be honest and to his agreement with the India regarding the Chabahar port. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Farshid, for joining us for this interview, taking some time out for us. And in future, we will be interviewing you again. Thanks ever so much for this. Viewers, we are reaching towards the end of the program. As you have watched the whole video, I'm pretty much sure that you will be having many questions that you can ask. You can ask all of the questions, and next time, whenever I'm interviewing Farshid again. Of course, we can ask him them questions as well. All I wanted you to do now is subscribe the channel, News Washer we are called, and I'm interviewing, I'm bringing the best of the analysts and the best of the people who can answer your questions. Subscribe, and there is a bell icon. Do click the bell icon so that you can get the notifications about whenever I put a video on. Take good care of yourself.